मपनी नी सा रे मा गा रे मा पा मा गा रे गा सा नी
आज इस रिपब्लिकन डे के अवसर पर
एनसीसी के लिए हाजिर। जय श्रीमान, परेड शुरू करने की अनुमति चाहता हूं।
अवसर पर अहमदनगर कॉलेज एनसीसी के 90 कैडेट यूनिटी एंड डिसिप्लिन का प्रदर्शन करते हुए 3 दस्तों में अपने सीनियर सबसे आगे FY का छात्र है तथा गणतंत्र दिवस कैंप RDC 2018 इसमें सफलता से पूरा किया है। एक का नेतृत्व संभाला है जूनियर ऑनर ऑफिसर युवराज ठाकुर। ये FY BCom का छात्र है। टुकड़ी 2 का नेतृत्व संभाला है कैडेट मोनिका, SY BA की छात्र है तथा तीसरे दस्तों का नेतृत्व कर रहा है सार्जेंट रॉबिन कुमार। ये FY BSc का छात्र है। देश के युवाओं में अनुशासन यह महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है। शानदार संचलन करते हुए अहमदनगर कॉलेज के एनसीसी कैडेट सम्मान देते हुए गुड मॉर्निंग। एनसीसी अनेकता में एकता है, अनुशासन है। ये दोनों कैडेट्स आज होने वाले राजपथ संचलन में सहभागी होंगे। कैडेट शाहिद शेख, जूनियर ऑनर ऑफिसर शाहिद शेख FY BA का स्टूडेंट है। आप गणतंत्र दिवस कैंप RDC 2018 गर्ल्स कैडेट्स चुनी गई थी। कैंप के दौरान हुए प्रतियोगिता तथा कंपटीशन में महाराष्ट्र ग्रुप ने 5 गोल्ड मेडल तथा 20 सिल्वर मेडल जीते हैं। उसमें से हर्षदा क्षीरसागर, आप TSC कैडेट्स हैं तथा फील्ड सिग्नल प्रतियोगिता में आप दूसरे स्थान पर रहकर आपको सिल्वर मेडल से सम्माना गया हुआ है तथा इंडिविजुअल में आपने गोल्ड मेडल लिया है। पंखीरा नागापुरे, न्यू दिल्ली में हुए हेल्थ हाइजीन प्रतियोगिता में आप दूसरे स्थान पर है और अपने सिल्वर मेडल जीता है तथा फर्स्ट एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत नेशनल कैंप औरंगाबाद में सफलता से पूरा किया है। पंखीरा नागपुरे। ज्योति कुमारी ए सेकेंड ईयर एनसीसी की कैडेट है, एसवाई बीसीएस की छात्र है। अब टीएससी 2018 में न्यू दिल्ली में हुए जजिंग डिस्टेंस प्रतियोगिता में दूसरे स्थान पर रहकर आपने सिल्वर मेडल जीता है तथा एनसीसी एकेडमी जोरहट असम में एडवांस लीडरशिप कैंप सफलता से पूरा किया है। सार्जेंट दुधाड़े अभिजीत, ये टीवाई बीएससी का छात्र है। ऑफिसर ट्रेनिंग एकेडमी कामटी नागपुर अक्टूबर में हुए एसएसबी स्क्रीनिंग कोर्स आपने सफलता से पूरा किया है। सार्जेंट दुधाड़े अभिजीत। कैडेट शुभम पाटिल, ये एसवाई बीएससी का छात्र है तथा एनसीसी एकेडमी जोरहाट असम में एडवांस लीडरशिप कैंप सफलता से पूरा किया है। यह कैंप नवंबर 2018 में जोरहाट असम में हुआ था। कैडेट निशांत फलके, एसवाई बीए का छात्र है तथा एनसीसी एकेडमी जोरहाट असम में हुए एडवांस लीडरशिप कैंप में आपका चयन हुआ था। यह कैंप नवंबर 2018 में हुआ और इस कैंप के दौरान प्रतियोगिता में आपने गोल्ड मेडल प्राप्त किया है। कैडेट राहुल अनारपू, एसवाई बीकॉम का छात्र है। मदुराई तमिलनाडु में हुए एडवांस लीडरशिप कैंप में आपका चयन हुआ था। यह कैंप दिसंबर 2018 में पूरा हुआ। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
Good morning, all of you, on Republican Day.
Good morning to all of you, and welcome to this, the 70th Republic Day of our nation. Before I share my thoughts with you this morning, I would like to congratulate the officers in charge and the 90 cadets of our 17th Maharashtra NCC Battalion for their wonderful display of their skill and their very smart turnout. Congratulations, girls and boys. You indeed make us very proud. Recently, when I was thinking about what thought I should share with you this morning, my mind wandered to the many inspirational people whose lives we have been inspired over the generations. To name a few: President Abraham Lincoln, the great American civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., closer to home, the father of our nation, the great Mahatma Gandhi, Saint Teresa of Calcutta, and a pantheon of other greats whom we hear about and read about, and whose lives have and will continue to serve as a source of inspiration for us for generations to come. We all need heroes in our lives. We all need inspirational figures in our lives so that we can look up to them and try and follow in their footsteps, so to say. As someone wisely said, and I quote, "A measure of a man's character is not what he gets from his ancestors. A measure of a man's character is not what he gets from his ancestors, but what he leaves his descendants." In today's day and age, where there is a fierce competition to succeed, and where time seems to govern every action that we take, most of us, if not all of us, seem to be caught up in some rat race or the other, too busy competing or playing catch up with somebody or something, and in the process forgetting to uphold some basic core human values that have helped generations of people to navigate life's journey. To drive home this very complex statement which I think I've just put forth to you this morning, I'd like to share with you a certain incredible true story that I read very recently, which will help me pass on to all of you the single point that I want to carry home with you today. This is a true story based in South Africa not too long ago, when South Africa stood isolated from the world because of its apartheid policy, where there was a clear segregation between the whites and the blacks, where during that point in time the blacks were subjected to the most inhuman forms of torture, so to say, or oppression at the hands of the whites at that time. The story which I am narrating to you, which is called Forgiveness, is based in that era. The story is set up in a courtroom scene in South Africa. You can imagine that there's a trial going on in the highest courts in South Africa, where a frail, old, roughly 70-year-old lady slowly rises to her feet when the court comes to order, when the judge comes. Diagonally across the room, she is facing several white police officers, one of whom, by the name of Mr. Shaw, or Officer Shaw, had been tried and found guilty and implicated in the murders of the woman's son and her husband some years ago. Many years ago, Officer Shaw and his colleagues, one fine night, closer to midnight, knocked at this old lady's door. For no rhyme or reason, snatched her teenage son away, shot him at point-blank range, poured gasoline over his body, and partied just next to the body as this young boy was burning to death. Several years later, this same officer, Mr. Shaw, comes back to this lady's door and knocks at the dreaded hour of midnight and takes away her husband. For many months, this old lady knows nothing of the whereabouts of where her husband is. But almost 2 years after her husband was so brutally snatched away from her, this Officer Shaw has the guts to come back to the house to take this lady, this old lady, along. The story narrates that how vividly this old lady remembers that fateful night where she is dragged by these officers, these white officers, to an obscure cabin in the forests, where she sees her husband alive, tied, bound, beaten mercilessly, but alive and still strong in spirits. The lady narrates that she remembers soon after that those cruel officers who by then were drunk poured gasoline on her weak, bound husband who was strong in spirits and set him alight while they laughed their heart out. She also narrates that the last words that she heard from her husband's mouth as the lips quivered and the officers poured gasoline on him were, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Now this woman stands in the courtroom facing the tormentors, the officers who destroyed her life, and listens to the confessions that are offered by them. In the meanwhile, the judge there asks that old lady, the judge from the highest court of the land, asks that lady, "What do you want? How do you think that justice can be done to such men who brutally destroyed your family?" This old lady, who by now is shaking in the legs, is steadied by the officers of the court. And though she is very frail, she very calmly and confidently said that she wants three things. Number one, I want first to be taken to the place where my husband's body was burnt, so that I can gather the dust and give the remains a decent burial. The frail old lady, who by now is shaking, pauses and then continues, "My husband and my son were my only family, and therefore, secondly, I want that this convicted officer, Mr. Shaw, become my son. I would like him, even when he is incarcerated and put in jail, to be allowed to be released twice a month, so that he can come and visit me in the ghetto." A ghetto means a slum. "So he can come twice a month and visit me in this ghetto and spend a day with me, so that she could pour whatever love she had remaining in her." And finally, and most dramatically, she says, "The third thing I want, which also my husband wished as he died there, I want somebody to come and help me across the courtroom so I can go to that convicted officer, take him in my arms and embrace him, and let him know that he is forgiven." The story ends with the court assistants coming to lead this elderly lady across the room. In the meanwhile, that officer, Mr. Shaw, so overwhelmed by what he just heard, faints. But all the courtroom stands up spontaneously and with tears in their eyes, claps, a slow clap, a standing ovation to a lady who had the courage and the heart to forgive an officer of the law who had so mercilessly killed her husband and her son, the only family in the whole world that she ever knew and had. As someone so beautifully summed up, and I quote, that there is nobility in compassion. There is nobility in compassion. There is a beauty in empathy and a grace in forgiveness. And therefore, on the auspices of this our 70th Republic Day, may God in His infinite love and mercy grant you and me the conviction, the strength to learn to forgive those who have wronged us, and in doing so set an example to the coming generation in the hope that our children and thereafter our children's children might lead better lives. God bless this great country and this great institution of ours.
जय श्रीमान विसर्जन करने की अनुमति चाहता हूं।
Meanwhile, that officer, Mr. Shaw, so overwhelmed by what he just heard, faints. But all the courtroom stands up spontaneously and with tears in their eyes, claps, a slow clap, a standing ovation to a lady who had the courage and the heart to forgive an officer of the law who had so mercilessly killed her husband and her son, the only family in the whole world that she ever knew and had. As someone so beautifully summed up, and I quote, that there is nobility in compassion. There is nobility in compassion. There is a beauty in empathy and a grace in forgiveness. And therefore, on the auspices of this our 70th Republic Day, may God in His infinite love and mercy grant you and me the conviction, the strength to learn to forgive those who have wronged us, and in doing so set an example to the coming generation in the hope that our children and thereafter our children's children might lead better lives. God bless this great country and this great institution of ours.
जय श्रीमान विसर्जन करने की अनुमति चाहता हूं।
मैं आप सबको खड़े रहने की विनती करता हूं तथा आभारी हूँ प्राचार्य डॉक्टर आर.जे. बारनबस और उनके सहयोगी इन सब का, तथा आभारी हूँ एनसीसी कैडेट्स का कि जिन्होंने इतना बढ़िया संचलन आज दिखाया, तथा आज यहाँ उपस्थित हुए सब शिक्षकेतर कर्मचारी, मैडम और स्टूडेंट, हम आप सबके आभारी हैं।